Greetings, friends. I'm the Preacher 711, and this is another episode of the Federation's Most Wanted, a Blake 7 podcast, where I seek, locate, and interview fans from across the Blake 7 fan community. This one's going to come with yet another geek out warning because I'm on the mic today with someone I love hearing from. I've had the pleasure of meeting them once in person, and they happen to host one of the most amazing podcasts there is out there. It's Si Hart. Si, hiya.
Hello, how are you?
Good, matey. Really good. Absolute pleasure to have you on. One of the voices from Maximum Power, as if I need to introduce that. How's it going?
Yeah, really good, thank you. It's a joy to come on someone else's podcast because I don't have to do so much preparation for this one. I could just talk.
Excellent. And it's what all us B7 fans are good at. It's just having a good old chat
Exactly.
about why we love it. Also, I just wanted to say huge congratulations for your opening segment of the latest annual. Absolutely brilliant. Well done, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, so big thank you to Graham, who I'm sure will be listening in, for asking me to do it. So it was such an honor to do that at the very last minute when he said something was missing from the annual and we needed an introduction. And I was delighted to write that and write about why the show is still so loved and why I think it's had such a resurgence over the last few years, because
Yeah,
it really, really has.
really
And it's
has.
been a joy.
When I read it, what I love about the whole fan community and what you wrote is you just sit there and nod away to yourself, going, "Yeah, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I feel that too. Yeah, it's that's what's so great about the community. We're all kind of in the same space. We're all pulling together. It's brilliant. What a time.
Definitely. And that's what I found sort of listening to your podcast and listening to other fans talking about why they love the show. And sometimes I'll be there saying, well, I don't think that, but I can see why you do. And I
Yeah,
understand that completely. And a lot of the feedback we've had on Maximum Power has been around, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with you, but you argued it really well. And obviously, there's so many different ways you can view everything. It's really, really good.
I mean, got the maximum power. You people out there that follow me on the Twitter, you'll know. It's a ritual for me. When I'm training it up to the big smoke, I love listening to the podcast. If you haven't, guys, please check it out. Some of the episode, it just gets better. For me, it's just you just guys keep on getting better. And the icing on the cake for me was the retrospective, the end of season retrospective was something else. So
Yeah,
I won't spoil it.
we really love doing those. So I think we just relax a bit more then, and we've got some very
So
general
funny.
questions, and we just have a laugh.
All I'm going to say is the polls, and people will have to listen because each one got more more mental and more crazy. And yeah, honestly, guys, do go and have a listen. But now we're going to dive into my usual nerdy questions. If you're ready for it, Si,
I'm ready.
let's do it. So how and when did Blake 7 come into your life, my friend?
Well, I was a bit late to Blake 7, a bit later than a lot of people. So when the series finished in 1981, I was only 6, so I didn't see it on first broadcast. But by that time, I was a huge Doctor Who fan. And when Series D was, I got it right, which is unusual for us, when Series D was repeated in 1983 on Saturday evenings, my mum sat me down in the way she sat me down with Doctor Who and just said, look, you love Doctor Who. You'll probably really like this show. And so my first episode was Rescue, and I was hooked. I fell in love with the show straight away, and that was all I saw for a very, very long time. And then I sort of saw Blake 7 in a bit of a random order after that. So then I saw Blake, and then the very next episode I saw years later was The Way Back, which is kind of a weird way of seeing it. And then that was on Super Channel, which not a lot of people remember, but I saw a few episodes of Blake 7 randomly from that, sort of when I was visiting various people and things like that. And then I got a few pirated videos. So I saw my first episode of Series C, which was Sarcophagus, which to this day I absolutely adore, because it was like, I was 15 when I saw that, and it was like nothing I'd seen and nothing I expected from Blake 7. And I didn't quite get it at that point, but I absolutely loved what I was watching. And then it was the BBC video pushes that really sort of got me. So I bought those 2-episode video releases sort of each month and sort of plugged the gaps of Blake 7.
Wow. Were
And
you
again,
one of the people that was lucky enough to have the glass cabinet?
oh god, I wish I'd
Okay.
had the glass cabinet, but no. By the time Blake 7, by the time the series was finishing being released, I was about to head off to university, so I had to save all my money. Otherwise, I'd have got that in a heartbeat.
Excellent. And what series are you, my friend? What one are you most connected with? What one gives you the most pleasure? Whatever way you want to interpret that.
Do you know, I've been thinking about this all day because I knew this question was coming, and it always fluctuates between two. But for me, I think I'm a Series D boy. I think that run from Headhunter to Blake is just such startlingly good quality, and I don't think there's a quality run like that in the rest of the show that doesn't sort of fluctuate. But I think when Series D reaches its highs, they're the highest. Unfortunately, it also reaches some of the lowest lows. Sort of while they're finding their feet and having to rewrite all the scripts because Callie's not there, working out who this new character Sulin is. But I think sort of halfway through, they suddenly get it, and it's just magic.
Yeah.
But then I feel dishonest and think, but I really love Series C, and that's really great as well. And there are times when that would just edge it, and I don't know.
all questions here are designed for maximum evilness. You know,
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
purposefully so that, you know, like I say, on one day I'll say D, catch me
Yeah,
tomorrow I'll say C, and then I'll say A, or you know, there's
yeah. And
they're all
sometimes
awesome.
and for a long time, I thought it was B. I thought B was just really good. So you know, it's really hard.
It's really hard, but
Mhm.
hopefully a little bit easier is Team Blake or Team Avon.
Oh, I'm Team Avon, for sure. So for me, I think coming in when I did into Blake 7, Blake 7 was always Avon's show. And that's the crew that feels right, whether they're on the Liberator or on Scorpio. I think it's Avon's show. And even in the early days, it's actually pretty much Avon's show. I sort of coming one of the things that sort of Maximum Power has made me do is watch the show with a very critical eye and sort of watch what the characters are doing. And Blake is a bit of a shit a lot of the time. he's not. And sort of when I was younger, I think one of your other people said this, that he was very heroic and very steadfast and good. But when you watch him sort of back as an adult, I'm there thinking, no, he's passive aggressive. He's horrible to
Oh
everyone.
God, yeah,
And I was
absolutely.
listening to your episode where you were talking about Shadow, and he's a git in that. He's
on
horrible.
that's my evidence for the prosecution against
Yeah,
Blake.
he doesn't
I just
care
think
about anyone
no,
other than
I find
his
the
mission.
hardest bit to watch on that is that whole bit at the beginning on the Liberator is his treatment of Gan, right? Because if Blake's got no other skill, he knows how to play each person. You know, he's got it all
Yeah.
down. But the way he plays Gan is despicable. Is the whole he repeats the word think, playing
Mm-hmm.
on Gan's self-perception that he's an idiot. You know,
Yeah.
and I just thought, oh, we're playing that card, are we, Blake?
Mm-hmm.
We're going
And
that low.
and the way he doesn't care about what's happened to Callie is really callous and awful.
Mm,
And that's not Series A Blake. Series A Blake would have been better than that, but it's such attention to detail of the characters that you can see this descent that
yeah.
ultimately brings into that argument with Callie on the flight deck in Star One, where he justifies it to himself that he's going to do this because he's right.
Yes, absolutely. But he's done it, remember? He's done
Yeah,
it.
he's done it. He's done it. I've done it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So maybe the trickiest all is favorite episodes.
Oh, that's not tricky at all. My
Ooh,
favorite episode
bold.
is Terminal. And
Okay.
I absolutely love Terminal because it's a funny one. it was the very last episode of Blake 7 I had to see that was new. But years before that, I'd got a couple of random copies of Blake 7 Monthly, which I hadn't got at the time. And in the very last issue, they had synopsis of all the episodes from Series C and Series D. And I just remember reading the synopsis for Terminal and thinking, this sounds like the most amazing story ever. And just there thinking, I'm desperate to see this one. And it didn't let me down. Just the sense, very much also like you get in Blake, where everything is not quite right and everything is a bit off. And this is all going to go wrong, but you don't quite know how it's going to go wrong. And the slow deterioration of the Liberator is so upsetting. And then what happens to Zen is really upsetting, more upsetting than any other character going from the series, I think. And it's remarkable. I mean, Terry Nation comes back so refreshed for Series C, and he writes 3 of the best episodes of all. But Terminal is always the one that I come back to and just think, yeah, this is just spectacular. And then, just when you think you've got a handle on what's going on in the episode, Servalan swans in for the last 10 minutes at her most triumphant, and she's manipulated the whole thing. And it's wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think.
And if this, I think, sorry, go on.
I think as well, with thinking back to being a little kiddie and seeing that for the first time, I think it was the first moment that it really sunk in for me that this isn't a Star Wars or a Star Trek, because of the whole, relentless descent into chaos that was unraveling before. If it was one of those other shows, the Liberator would have got fixed at the 11th hour and it all would have been fine, But I just remember the silence watching that with my siblings when the Liberator explodes, and it was just the whole. Did that really just happen? Amazing.
Yeah, and I bet you were reacting like all the crew watching it on the screen.
Yeah, honestly, it was stunned silence.
Yeah,
stunned silence.
And it would. I'm really glad we got Series D, but it would have been a good ending for the series.
Yeah,
but I'm glad we got the next one.
Totally. I mean, the Darrow smile as he turns and walks away. I love that.
It's one of my favorite gifs on Twitter. That one. I love using that one.
I like the way it's the scathing glances from everybody else. It's the way,
and the way Villa looks it right in the eye.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's good. It's powerful stuff. But we're going to go from there. We're going to go from the high highs of Terminal then to what's your least favorite episode?
Oh, it's really difficult. And we were talking about this off mic.
Yeah.
Sort of saying that even the weaker episodes of Blake 7 usually have a moment or something in them that is really good. But I think for me it's probably Volcano.
Interesting.
I just find, and I think this is the cardinal sin, is just a bit dull.
Yeah.
And it's very by the numbers, Blake 7, and Michael Gough is usually very good, but he's quite flat. And he's not giving one of his best performances. And I think everything is just not quite there. And it's not that it's a bad episode, it's just one that I forget exists a lot of the time. And just think,
good point.
And when you're sort of sat there thinking, I could watch an episode of Blake 7, and you think, well, I could watch one that's entertaining, I could watch one that I really love, but you never think, I'll just put Volcano on.
No, you raised a good point there. I mean, I love the Commandos, as I always refer to the Federation troopers with the silver helmets, and the Bandoliers. I think they look great. Like I say, looking for the good in it. I love a bit of that.
Yeah. And the ending is lovely and downbeat, and that's
totally
good. But I don't know, it just doesn't quite come together.
No.
But I mean, there are probably episodes that are far worse. Something like Moloch is not a great episode, is it? I mean, but we'll see.
I think the thing about Moloch, the bit that kills it the most for me is when Moloch is revealed and Avon
Mhm.
going, yeah, that's how I reasoned you would have looked. Really? Really? Based on what?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's quite a
But I
stretch
mean,
even for Avon.
yeah, but that's got great moments where Servalan and Villa
Oh,
team up,
brilliant.
which are just comedy gold. And so there's always something that's
Always
good.
something.
Mhm.
There's always a little bit of goodness in each one. But Liberator or Scorpio, where does your heart land, sir?
Liberator. I'm Team Liberator all the way, even though it was not my first ship. It was. I remember seeing pictures of it before I saw the episodes with it in, and just thinking, this is the most beautiful ship there is. It is gorgeous, and when it is filmed, the sort of a lot of those model shots of it, um, just make it look like the most glorious, beautiful ship. There's the bit there are a couple of model shots that are absolutely excellent. The one that they use at the very end of Aftermath when they're sort of zooming on the ship and it's just
Mm,
sitting there in space and it's just a gorgeous model and the interior is spectacular as well. So they went
yes.
all out to make something that was different and wasn't like other ships. It could easily have just been computer banks and things like that, like with the triangular walls that you see
Mm,
in all BBC sci-fi and things like that. But Roger Murray Leach went all out to make it something that did look alien and was different, and sort of having Zen in the corner of the flight deck, sort of
mm,
dominating the flight deck and the hexagonal corridors. I love those.
it's great.
I'd love those in my house. I think that would be spectacacular.
So you say
My
it's like a,
landlady might not be happy with that, but I think they would look great in my flat.
but it's like a cathedral, isn't it? That the
Yeah.
flight deck feel is conceptually alien. It really is.
Mhm.
It ticks exactly what you would expect from the
Yeah,
brief.
absolutely. And when you've got those model shots and you've got Dudley Simpson's fanfare for the Liberator with just that bum bum bum,
Yeah,
how can you not love that ship?
absolutely. I mean, it's that first reveal, and like you say, to
Oh,
the thing when it's there in space and you see it for the first time,
and it's
and
just glowing
just
and
glowing, and it looks awesome. And when the London does that little turn around it, there's that,
yeah.
and you
Mhm,
go, Jesus Christ, this thing is enormous. Look at it.
mhm,
It's something. I love. There is a model shot that gets used a load of times. That's when the Liberator's kind of in orbit, it's kind of like hold down as if the neutron blasters are pointing
yeah.
at the
Mhm,
planet. And I've always loved that from like almost I want to say a realism perspective. It's a warship that is basically
mhm,
a flying weapons platform. Basically,
yeah.
if it
Mhm,
was going to sit above a planet, it would damn well sit like that, ready to
yeah.
go. Love
And
it.
yeah, and it's just that even though we went to Space World and we saw the system where it came from, we it's just that magic of not quite knowing why it was created, what it was for,
Yeah,
what were they going to do with the ship, what was it doing, hanging out in space where it was,
yeah.
and we never got answers to that.
No, no, brilliant. Love it. Travis 1 or Travis 2, my friend? What's it going to be?
Wow. My first Travis was Brian Croucher, and so it feels like proper Travis to me.
Okay.
And objectively, I can see that he's not Stephen Greif, and Stephen Greif is amazing, but Brian Croucher will always be Travis. So I saw four rand 4 episodes of Series B, sort of quite early on in my Blake Seven watch. So I saw Weapon, Horizon, Pressure Point, and Trial. So I've got 3 interesting Travis episodes there, and Trial just blew me
Oh.
away. And I think Brian Croucher doesn't always get a lot of love, and quite often he doesn't always deserve it. He makes some interesting choices with his acting, but watching him in Trial and watching the way he's disinterested, and then suddenly in that room he comes to life and he roars
Mm,
across the room, and he's just phenomenal there. And if he'd not had George Spenton Foster as his
mm.
first director and had someone who was a bit more sympathetic, I think he would have been far more successful. And I know for a lot of fans, Stephen Greif is is the one, and he originated the character. But I can see what they're trying to do with Travis Mark II, and it's a shame we didn't get Stephen Greif to play those scripts. I think that would have been very interesting. But Brian Croucher is great.
He is. Yeah, he's great. He's great. And like you say, Trial, great shout. Do love the Travis portion of it is brilliant.
Yeah, and then for Star One, he comes back and he's really great in that one as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But and I can't walk away from Trial without, of course, mentioning I'm contractually obligated to mention the awesome Trooper Parr, who is the Blake 7 love of my life. He's incredible. Where's my Big Finish? Where's my Trooper Parr spin-off? Yeah. Come on, make it happen. Make it happen. So we're on the planet Galda Prime. There's gunshots all around. There's people falling, dropping like flies. Who survived? Side? Did anybody?
Aurak. And Servalan. It's one of those things as a Blake 7 fan, you sit there and think who's coming out of this, and like everyone else who's answered this question, I have listened to those gunshots at the end of the episode so many times, thinking, right, Federation, Avon's gun, and I'm just there thinking, no one is going to get out of there alive. This is the one where the Federation troops have learned to shoot, and Avon is as dead as everyone else, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. And that's the joy of it. That's the joy that we will never know a definitive answer to that question. And we shouldn't ever know a definitive answer to that question. We should be able to sit in the pub in another 20 years' time and still be saying, no, Avon must have got away.
I counted the shots. He must have done.
Yeah.
But God, as a bonus follow-up, then I'm going because you answered with Aurak first. I'm going to go, where did they stuff Aurak when they landed in the silo? For you, where is he?
Well, I think Avon left him outside and sort of buried him under some leaves somewhere. So I think they got into the hangar. Avon just popped out, said, "We'll just
out for a bit.
Make sure Aurak is safe, just in case, because we don't want anyone getting their hands on him." And off they go. So I think he's under a tree,
under a tree somewhere.
Yeah,
slowly running out of power, running out of battery. I've just always thought, he's under the passenger seat of that flyer still.
Oh, he might well be.
No one's going to have checked. Who's going to come back and look? Who's going to go? Look at the ineptitude of the average Federation guard, right? Are you seriously telling me someone's going to go? We should check under the seat in that flyer. No, that's not happening. They would have sealed the place off. Off they went.
Off
they went, definitely. What's your Blake 7 wish for us all, my friend? You've got the fairy pixie dust. You can make anything happen. What are you going to give us?
Do you know? Well, like everyone else, I'd love the Blake 7 Blu-ray, absolutely. But I think we're sadly a little bit too late to get all the contributors that we needed for it. So I'm not going to say that, and I'm going to go completely left field. I want the Liberator made out of Lego.
God, what a shout. We've not had that.
I want like the Star Wars treatment. I want the Liberator, I want Scorpio, I want Space Command, I want all of those models with little minifigs of all the crew.
What a shout. What a shout.
That would be cool.
I remember seeing a couple of years ago, it's probably more than a couple now actually, someone online had done Scorpio. Had done a big version.
Yes,
of it.
I've seen that.
You've seen that, and you can lift it up, and it's got the flight deck. Oh, imagine that!
That'd be perfect.
Imagine that. You know, you can stuff your Lego Star Destroyers. Give me a Scorpio. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, mate, that would be brilliant. it would also be really remiss of me not to ask you while I've got you here. When's the new series of Maximum Power coming, my friend? Come on. When's it going?
Well, we have recorded the first 2 episodes of Series C. So we've done Aftermath, and we've also done a bonus episode before Aftermath as well, which we greatly enjoyed. I'm not going to reveal what it is. It will be a nice surprise for everyone.
Excellent.
And we'll be recording sort of till the end, till the middle of July, probably, because of scheduling problems, trying to get the team together.
So pro.
Because we are intercontinental, so
you are.
It's tough getting everyone together. So but we've got the schedule, and the next recording is this Sunday. So yeah, we're on it, and we'll be back, and hopefully we'll get the episodes out before the end of the year. A bit faster than the gap between Series A and Series B, which took us a while.
What's been your favourite one that you've recorded? What's the episode that you man? I enjoy that one.
I have to say, my favourite one of all. I really loved the conversation we had about Horizon, which was an episode that I didn't expect anyone to love as much as I do.
Yeah.
And everyone came on and said, "Do you know what? I really like this." And we had a really great discussion. But I think it's Voice from the Past is the best one. We barely kept it together all the way through because we were all just itching to laugh about it all. But we had a sensible conversation, and then it cracked at the last minute. And
it did. The end, if you like, credits, the end bit.
Yeah, we just kept laughing.
It kept going. It kept going.
Yeah, that was everyone sort of says at the end of that, you've got to put the whole lot in because everyone's got to know, and because we were just so happy and just so having so much fun that I put the unexpurgated laughter holding it together a bit. So yeah, that was great fun to do. But also we just had a really great conversation about why it didn't quite work and why it should have done. And so yeah, it was a fascinating episode to talk about.
I think that's honestly, what I've really, really enjoyed about the podcast is you've got all these different voices. It's a great ensemble piece. You all come with your own views. None of you are afraid to express your own views, which is great as well. But it's the balance and the reverence with which you do it that I really enjoy. And there's been episodes in there where I've gone, Horizon's a great example. I love Horizon. I'm a big defender of Horizon.
Good man.
There's so much in there I love. And I went to listen to the podcast episode, and I was like, here we go. They're just going to annihilate this one. This is, poor Horizon, brace for it. And it was the way you all kind of one by one went, no, I really enjoyed it too. No, I really liked it. And it was lovely. It was like each person seemed to be ready and waiting for the kick in that never came.
Yeah, I mean, it never came. We picked that one. We picked our team at random for that one, and it just worked.
Yeah. I mean, I've got to say, there are some I can't wait to hear. I'd love to hit the magic fast. Selfish, I can't wait to hear Rumours of Death.
What do you want to hear?
Rumours of Death. Okay. Rumours of Death. I just want to hear you guys talk about that one. I've said it more times than I can count on this podcast. But I love the opening, the prison cell with Avon. I think is Darrow is.
We are very honoured. Una McCormack is coming back as a guest to do Rumours of Death with us.
Wow.
Because she said, could I? She said, I don't. She said, I don't know. I'd quite like to talk about one of the rubbish ones again. And we said, no. Come and do Rumours of Death. And she said, couldn't I? I said, yeah, of course you can. Come.
Wow.
So there's a bit of a coup for you. So you've got some news there.
Amazing.
But
brilliant. And I'm scared for it, but the one closest to my heart is, of course, Gold. And I can't wait for a bit of that. That will be glorious.
Don't worry, I think the team universally love Gold as well. They should. I think that's one of my top 5 episodes. I love it to pieces.
It's appropriate any time. It's my go-to mental health break in case of emergency episode. I could endlessly watch that. It's just beautiful. Everyone's having a great time.
The Gold Planet.
The Gold Planet. Darrow out Darrow.
Wonderful.
Tarrant is, the bit where Tarrant's playing the drugged moron and he does the smile, the insane kind of smile in the doctor's office. It's just, everybody's good at it. It's just great.
And another one where Servalan turns up for the last few minutes and
she's great.
Almost walks off with the show. Yeah.
Thank you, my friends, so much for coming on the podcast. It's been genuinely amazing. I've tried not to over geek at this this moment. Meeting another celebrity is always awesome. But thank you for all that you guys do on Maximum Power. I absolutely love it. It's such a great analysis of the show, and I know a lot of people out there feel the same way. So really looking forward to the new season.
Thank you so much.
And thank you to all you guys for continuing to listen. It's really touching. I've had so many lovely comments on the YouTube and Spotify and so on. So thank you very much.